Hello, my friend. I have a special invitation for you. I have a new, potent, concentrated group coaching program called Crucible. We begin on April 10th. You can go check out timewitchery.com/crucible, and I'm going to tell you all about it at the end of the show. So if you're interested, stay tuned. What happened on a macrocosmic level is that the community itself became a jewel, and we had all our different personalities, right? So we had me on one side, and then my sister on another side, and we had Mo, and then we had Sammy, and then
I love it. Mel and just everybody.
Yes, and Mel. And it was so sparkly because each person was bringing their thing and each person was bringing their flavor. And we were all appreciating that in one another, and we were all learning from one another. I don't know. That's how it felt to me. Did it feel that way to you too?
It did. It did.
Yeah.
And it was, again, back to one of those things. And I think you and I talked about it the last time I was on here too. It's when people are living and leaning into the things that make them happy, that bring them joy, that fill them up, that satisfy them. When they're giving that back to the world, it's elevating, it's expansive. And I feel like that's what everybody was bringing to the table. Just very, very naturally.
Welcome to Mind Witchery. I'm your host, Natalie Miller, and I'm so glad you're here. Hello there and welcome. I am excited to have back on the show for a second time my friend, my co-creatrix, my collaborator, the one and only King Moe. Hi, Mo.
What up, guys? Hey.
Today's episode is a Conjuring episode. It's a conversation. And here's how this episode was born. Mo and I are sitting in the Albuquerque airport after finishing this week-long retreat. And our flight's delayed because there's something wrong with our plane. And we're just sitting there in the airport. And we're talking about the experience that we just had, and also the experience that we just delivered, like the experience that we created for our retreat participants in the Luminous in Taos retreat this summer. And I don't know, we get like 3 minutes into the conversation, and we're both like, okay, this just needs to be a podcast.
Exactly. It was some good shit.
Yes, the people need to hear us talking about this. Oh, gosh. So what we were reflecting on, Mo, is we were just talking about what the collaboration of this retreat felt like and how different and good and delicious it was to work together. And so
delicious, that's the word.
Yes,
delicious.
Yes. It was like joyful to work together. And we wanted to just kind of talk about what were some of the key ingredients of that? Like, how did that work? So very first off, and this might make you cry, Mo.
Yeah, I'm a big crybaby. She already had me crying before we started today. I need tissue at all times.
That big Cancer heart. Okay. So this Luminous in Taos retreat, I've led retreats in this place many times. And I do it a little, or I have in the past done it a little differently every year. And this year, after having this experience of a photo shoot with you, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I think it would be amazing to incorporate a photo shoot into this retreat. And I think my heart knew that you were the person to ask because I saw how you collaborate with your team. So could you just talk about that a little bit? Like, when you do a shoot, how does it work that you're working with other people?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to cry. So when I do a shoot, it's definitely a team effort. The client, my muse, gets to meet me first. So we do our phone calls. We do all that beautiful brainstorming and creating together. But the day of, it's myself, my assistant, Mo, and my makeup artist, Alexis. And, each lady basically has time with my client during the shoot for all different parts of the shoot. We are a team. Like, and we play off of each other. I've been with them for a good little bit now, and they are like the other side of my brain sometimes. So it's like a partnership. I'm doing a lot of my thing, my area of genius. And then I leave them to be in their area of genius, and it just works.
Yeah. And, actually in my shoot, I was even lucky because you had a videographer there also.
Yes. I have a videographer there from time to time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just remember the two of you would be kind of like brainstorming different shots. And I remember like the vibe that your assistant, that Mo and your makeup artist set was just so congruent with your vibe. It felt really good. And I could feel that it was co-created, not like this is the Mo show and here's my backup singers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that makes me feel so good because I really it's really organic how that happened. I mean, I'm intentional about just treating people well, but that kind of happens organically. And I love that you noticed it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could feel it, right? And that is very much the way that I work with my team. And in Luminous, of course, we had 10 people on retreat, and we had, if you include me, 7 people supporting the retreat.
Mm-hmm.
So we had our makeup artist, we had my incredible right hand woman, left hand woman, all hands woman, Sammy.
Hey, Sammy.
I know. We had my sister who's been assisting in my Taoist retreats forever. We had a videographer, we had a makeup artist, we had my incredible colleague Tara who came to teach yoga. We had all of these people on the retreat. And Mo, like what it felt like for me was that I could be fully present with the people who were there. And I wonder if you get that sense too when you're doing a shoot and you have all this assistance. It's like, I get to be with you. I'm not taking care of all the little bullshit that always comes up whenever we create something,
Most definitely. And that is how it felt. And that's how it feels. So I agree.
So let's just talk a little bit, I think, about what it takes to make it co-creative rather than we're on a stage and then everyone else is like support staff or something, right? You said something that really like spoke to me, which is when you are collaborating with your team, you're in your zone of genius and they are in their zones of genius, right? So that we acknowledge and honor that each person is bringing something and is bringing something different and is bringing something vital.
Yes, super valuable, 100%.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that, when I think about you and I collaborating on the retreat, I felt like what you were bringing was this it's like beyond sparkling. It's like sparking. It's this like,
I'll take it.
It is. It's this like electric individuality and confidence and willingness to be yourself. And so it's like, yeah, you were there working your magic with the camera, but you were also there just being you so fully, so strongly. And then that became inspiring, I know, for me and also for the other Luminous retreaters. So that is what I saw in kind of our collaboration. It was like, oh, Mo is bringing the living example of what I'm talking about in such a fully manifest way. It's gorgeous, right?
It was so organic. It was one of those times I'm that person. I got to be free. I got to be myself. Like that's my thing. You know, I tell everybody I get paid to be myself as I help others be more of themselves. So a lot of the times what I found out on my photo shoots in real life, when people meet me, when I show up as all of me, that automatically gives people permission because they feel comfortable to start showing up as more of themselves, because a lot of the time they've been suppressing certain parts of themselves for all different reasons, you know. So I consider myself like a bit of a permission giver, you know, as I be, others be more of themselves.
Yeah. And I mean, I could really feel that. And I appreciated both having that example from you in Luminous and also having, and we talked about this actually on the retreat, having help holding these other women in that experience, right? Because I can do it. I love to hold women in that experience of like seeing more and honoring more of themselves. And as you and I talked about, though, at the same time, like that is not easy. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of openness, right?
Energy. Yes.
Yeah. I think both of us, we let our clients borrow our faith and our vision and our appreciation of them.
I like that. Borrow. I like that.
Yeah, it's like, here, borrow it, try it on, like try it like a scarf, like a
How
head
does it
wrap. How does it
feel?
feel?
Yeah. Like a
Yeah.
moo
Like a moo. Yes. Yes. Like a pair of cowgirl boots, right? Like Mo and I did get matching cowgirl boots on the last day because it
They're
only
so
seemed right.
bomb.
It only seemed right.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was organic. It was just another one of those things
Yeah.
that just kind of happened when we were in a
Mm.
store and bam.
Mm-hmm,
It was
mm-hmm,
awesome.
mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think, that is, and I'm speaking, of course, to all of you out there who also do a version of this work where you are helping to kind of lift other people up. That's a heavy lift sometimes. And I was so grateful to have you helping with that. It really made it feel so different for me. I'm curious, like, how it felt for you having me as a coach, like also lifting, all of these lovely people for up to the light of their photo shoot as well.
I take my glasses off for this one, y'all. I will say this, and I mentioned it in one of our conversations. It felt good. It felt good to be in a space with another woman and other women and not feel like, I got to walk on eggshells or I can't shine too bright or I can't do this or I can't do that. Like to just be and be yourself completely fully and that be complimentary to the other ladies and people that are in attendance. It just felt magical. Like there was just something there that was I was skipping my ass around that compound like every day. Like when I got back, I was just reflecting on the joy and I was just reflecting on the ease, the joy and the ease that it felt for me. I was like almost one of those things where I wanted to bottle it up, where I set an anchor. Like, this is what I want to remember. This is how easy and joyful creating and co-creating can be. It was a beautiful example for me. And I thank you for that. I actually thank you for sharing your space, your ladies, your knowledge, your wisdom so generously with me, because that's not always the case when I show up. It is really not.
Yeah. I think we talked about this on one of our car rides because Mo and I we got
car rides, girl.
Listen,
that should have been a podcast.
Listen. We got some glorious car rides through the mountains of New Mexico. And it was just like, and this will speak to those of you who do shine really brightly. Like,
without trying, because that's one thing that we realize. This is not us trying.
No.
This is us being 100%.
Yeah, it's us being. We shine really brightly. And I think we've gone through a lot of fires of personal travails and turmoils that have forged that brightness. Like, it's like, yeah, we're born with it, sure, but also like, no, we fucking earned this shit. Like
damn right.
like we've been.
People don't know how I show up and get up every day for myself. That builds confidence in itself.
Yeah. No, same. And like, I think getting this kind of sense of self and actually really leaning into our talents and orienting ourselves towards what we love, all of that makes us very shiny. And both you and I have had a lot of experiences where, especially in communities with women, which is just so sad, right? It's like, if you get too shiny, you're a threat.
You're a threat. Yeah.
Like, stay in your place and keep it under wraps and keep it contained. And this collaboration, Mo, with you, and also with like the very differently shiny other kind of assistants and retreaters that we
Yes.
had, right? It really was like,
The multifaceted. I'm
yes,
gonna use that forever, Natalie.
I know. Okay, so yeah, so we could tell we could tell the people. So the theme of the retreat was that, like, my real belief, which is that each of us is a jewel, and we have all of these different facets to ourselves. We have like the independent one, and we have the mothering one, and we have the one who's a traveler, and we have the one who's a homebody. And it's like all of those selves create the jewel that is us. And the more we can explore and light up those different parts of ourselves, the more we sparkle and shine, right? The more we connect with other people. And I do think that, on a microcosmic level, I saw that happen for every person on that retreat, whether we were attending or working, or honestly, even if you were working
Yeah.
in the retreat, it felt like you were attending the retreat anyway.
You were, because you were absorbing it. It was one of those sponge moments.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, the kind of coaching that I do, Wayfinder coaching, one of our tenets is we live it to give it. Like, we can't offer it unless we are living it ourselves, right? We live it to give it. Thank you, Martha Beck. I get that from her. But anyway, what happened on a macrocosmic level is that the community itself became a jewel, and we had all our different personalities, right? So we had me on one side, and then my sister on another side, and we had Mo, and then we had Sammy, and then we
love it. Mel, and just everybody.
Yes, and Mel. And it was just so sparkly, because each person was bringing their thing, and each person was bringing their flavor. And we were all appreciating that in one another, and we were all learning from one another. I don't know. That's how it felt to me. Did it feel that way to you too?
It did.
Yeah.
And it was, again, back to one of those things. And I think you and I talked about it the last time I was on here too. It's when people are living and leaning into the things that make them happy, that bring them joy, that fill them up, that satisfy them. When they're giving that back to the world, it's elevating, it's expansive. And I feel like that's what everybody was bringing to the table. Just very, very naturally. We played off of each other. It was like a dance.
It was like a dance.
It was like a dance.
And, I will for a moment say, like, I'm thinking to myself, so I've been leading retreats for like a decade, a really long time. And
this is my first one, y'all. My very first one. So Natalie has spoiled my ass. I'm so spoiled. She ruined it for everybody.
Yes. Don't come to Luminous unless you're like, want a standard of retreat that is so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I was thinking about just now as you were talking, I was like, by design, the retreat gives the space for that, right? So we had like our sweet Kaylee, who's heading into town every day.
Looking fabulous.
Being fabulous, befriending all of the little shop owners, like finding the best matcha latte, like, coming back to town and being like, well, there's a festival this weekend.
There's
well,
a
you
fiesta.
definitely, exactly. Well, this place doesn't open till 11, but she's like got all the intel on being in the community. And that's because, like, when I, create a retreat, I want to make space for people to be able to do their own thing, right? So
that is important.
yes, right? Because some of us want to go on a hike and a walk. We had some like some brisk, adventurous, outdoorsy types. And then we had people who were like, yeah, I'm gonna like sit and I'm gonna draw, or I'm gonna
do a puzzle.
Yes, I know. I always bring a jigsaw puzzle. I do. Yeah, or just like hang out on the porch and chat with people, right? Or go to your room, or spend time taking advantage of legal recreational marijuana in New Mexico.
That part.
Yeah.
On the swing.
Yeah, right. But yeah, like just all to say that it is, I think we can structure in the ability for people to take care of themselves and be themselves, right?
And not feel guilty about it.
Yes.
Because that's the thing, like in the outside, I did notice something with the ladies, because, this is my life. This is how I live. This has been a work in progress for years of me being myself and doing what I want to do and having this freedom and not having the guilt that comes with it. I noticed the ladies, I noticed in the beginning, how we just get to do whatever we want to do. It was almost like a surprise, like a welcome surprise. And I love seeing them light up, just having that realization.
Yeah. No, I know. It was so beautiful. Actually, one woman said the most like touching thing. It was maybe day 4, something like that. We were sitting out on the patio and she had a spot on the patio. Like if I was wondering where she was in that spot on the patio.
I know who you talk about, dear.
You know, yeah. Because I could just see her there, right? And I remember she said, she was like, I haven't felt like myself in such a long time, and I feel like myself. And this woman is such a fucking miracle, like such a powerful, enormous hearted, brilliant, beautiful woman. And I know she goes on vacations, and like, yeah, you and I love to go on vacations. There is something different about being in intentional community that is co-created by all of these different people who are just like, I'm just trying to be myself, and I'm trying to make room for you to be yourself, and we get to be ourselves together, and we get to just be in community in a different way.
And it looks different. It looks really different. I remember one of the ladies said to me, it was like the last night we're having a good time in the jacuzzi, y'all. And she said to me, she was like, one of the coolest things I saw this week, King Moe, you were in the kitchen with all of us at dinner with your headphones on.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm here in community. But I'm about to do my own thing. And she was like, that just showed me like there's so many different ways of being, like so many different ways of being.
Yes, I loved that. And I loved seeing that. And I love the permission that gives to other people. Oh, and that's the other thing we were saying, Mo, that we wanted to share is it's like, if Mo is the only example for her clients and Natalie is the only example for her clients, I think because our culture points to one person and is like, do it like that. How do you get successful? Do it like that. Do it like her, right? And I mean, hell, there are a lot of people out there saying, do you want to be successful? Yeah, do it like me. And it is so much more deeply empowering and resonant to be like, be yourself.
Be yourself. Do it like you. What would you do?
Yeah. And it could look like that, or it could look like this, or it could look like that over there, or it could look like that over there, right? It's like, that's what glitters like the jewel, right? Is that there are so many different examples of people being themselves. So it's like some people are like, all I want to do is sit here with this jigsaw puzzle. And other people are like, I want to go for like a big sweaty hike. And other people are like, I want to go take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
And other people are like, I live in Canada and I just want to watch Bravo while I'm here.
I just want to watch TV. I just want to watch US TV for 7 days. I got to catch up on my TV.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes.
It was no guilt. She was like, y'all go do your thing. I'm going to watch Bravo.
Yeah. Right. And it's like, hell yes. Oh my gosh, that we all get to be who we are and how we are. And so, so often I think, again, especially communities of women, resentment builds because we feel like I have to take care of everybody else. Right?
Oh, and that was another thing that I noticed. I noticed the ladies leaning more into taking care of themselves because we had what did we call them? What do we call it when we open
The group agreements.
Group agreements. I feel like you setting that tone in the beginning just laid the groundwork for how things played out the rest of the retreat. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because like they were totally supporting one another, but they weren't like hanging on each other, It was like they were holding hands, they were giving each other a little push. They, but they weren't like clinging to each other. And yeah, it was gorgeous. It was so beautiful. And I think that does come from showing up as we are. And yeah, like taking, I don't know if it's responsibility, but it's like understanding that what we're here for is also tapping into our own resources.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good. All right. So let's like come up with, if it sounds good to you, Mo, let's just come up with like some ideas around like what does make a successful, stellar collaboration. And the first thing I'm going to say is like choosing people who share your values.
Yes.
I just think so important to choose people.
That's in life, not just with the retreat. That's your relationships, romantic, platonic, whatever. Yes.
Yeah. Because I think the magic with us was that we both honor individuality and individualism.
Right.
And also we have these big squishy hearts that care deeply for other people. And, and also we see teamwork as collaborative, not as like my team is going to like, I don't know, make sure my room is ready. It's like, no, like that's not what we're doing. Like we're all working together to care for one another. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Okay. So shared values, that feels like a piece. Yeah. What do you have?
I didn't have any set expectations. Like that was another thing for me. I just kind of showed up and let things unfold. That's kind of how I live life anyway. But yeah, not having these hard, rigid set expectations or goal markers, things like that.
I love that. Well, and also what I'm thinking is some of the like most amazing moments in the retreat, Mo, I think came from you and I co-creating like on the spot. So
on the fly.
On the fly. I was
that party we had.
Yes, exactly. So everybody, when Mo does a shoot, she is not having you pose for the camera. She's having you move for the camera. And I was like, all right, all these ladies are getting a mini shoot. I think it would be amazing if they could get a sense of what it's like to move for the camera beforehand. And so we went in. I was DJing on my phone.
We had a playlist, y'all. We put a lot of energy into this playlist. These songs had so many layers of meaning, y'all.
We did. So we co-created a playlist. I was playing DJ on my phone. Mo was doing her thing. The women brought it so hard. They were
perfect, y'all.
I know. I wish you could see us. We're both like waving our arms. I'm like, it's so good. Yeah. It was amazing. And that was like, what I felt like was like you and I both trusting each other to like.
Yes, that trust. Oh, you nailed it. There's another one. That trust. Yes.
And I think trusting that like the sum is so much greater than the parts. Like it's not Natalie plus Mo equals two. It's like, no, Natalie plus Moe equals an ability to evoke like energy in a huge, enormous way.
I like that math.
Yeah. So good. All right. Okay. Yeah. So that organic, trusting co-creation, I think that too. I think for me, I learned on this retreat how much support I really want. Because I'm not going to lie, there were times when I was looking, going into the retreat, and I was like, seriously, Natalie, you need all these people, because we're taught like bootstraps.
Yeah. You weak.
Minimize.
Yeah. Minimize. Do it all. DIY. Yep.
Exactly. Right. I cannot, for all of you out there who are like leading experiences and that kind of thing, I cannot tell you how powerfully I got to show up, because there was so much support, and because there were people holding aspects of the experience that I'm actually not that great at holding.
Yeah.
So there's this other piece, maybe, Mo, that kind of also ties back to our thing, where it's like we all get to be ourselves. We all get to be in our own zones of genius, that it's like, you know what? I'm not meant to do it all.
And that's okay. And it's okay. It shouldn't feel like a shortcoming. It shouldn't feel like something you have to overcompensate for. It's okay.
Yeah. What Mo is going to bring is different from what Natalie is going to bring, is different from what Sammy is going to bring. Like, everyone is going to bring something that's a little bit different. And that doesn't mean that any of us are lacking or less than.
Yes, or less than. Exactly. And I feel like so many times, of course, we've been taught that, we've been told that, that's been modeled to us. And so much of what went on at the retreat on a bunch of different levels was having those layers peeled back, examined. Like, no, I have options. There are different ways of being than this. I can choose differently. We were given these ladies lots of different options that they may not have considered up until that point.
Yeah. And with so many examples of people being themselves in community, I think they really they went for it. And I'm already seeing like the ripples of it. And this is world changing. This is world changing.
And we talked about how to change the world. To me, my opinion, the way the world changes is when people start showing up as themselves. The only way you can be accepted, the only way you can be embraced, is to be yourself. So many times, especially in different communities, you're taught to put on this face, you're taught to code switch, you're taught to this. How are you code switching or putting on a face or minimizing? How is that showing someone who you really are? How is that giving society, people, an opportunity to accept it, and for you to live it? I think I recommended a book to you. It was like Being You, Changing the World.
Yeah.
To me, that's where it starts.
Absolutely. So, oh, Mo, I just love you so much. It was so
we said that the whole time. I love you. I love you.
I know. I think we were not even outside the Taos city limits, and I'm like, so next year? And you're like, yeah.
Let's do this. I'm telling you, it set the standard for me in a different way. I opened up in different ways. I'm a very outgoing, open, confident person, but I'm human too. I'm human just like everybody else. I'm working through shit just like everybody else. So my takeaways, will continue to give, not only to me, but people around me. Like you said, those ripple effects turn into waves, and I'm here for it. I'm so here for it.
I know, it's so good. All right, loves. Well, I don't know when you're listening to this, because as we said, we're all living our individual experiences. But if you are listening to this in August of 2022, Mo and I want you to come to Taos with us next July. There's an early bird pricing and offer to encourage you into the experience.
I love how you said that, to encourage you into the experience. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, because listen, like we've been saying, it is not always easy for us to say yes to ourselves.
To ourselves. Yep.
Yeah. we don't always realize that saying yes to ourselves actually lets us show up in the world so much more generously.
Yes. And that's
Right?
one thing I have to say about you. I noticed this. I sat back and I watched. I'm an observant person. I noticed your generosity, all levels, of how you give so freely, and that impacted me more ways than you can imagine. Just know that.
Oh.
Witnessing that, experiencing that. Thank you, Natalie Miller. Yeah.
And know that that generosity is fueled by, shored up by support and collaboration and teamwork. So I really appreciate that so much. And also I want to be careful to not say, oh yeah, that's all me. It's oh no, that's actually, I've positioned myself in the world in a way that enables that. And that's what I want you to hear, actually, maybe more than anything else, if you're listening right now, is that when we figure out, where is my community? Who are my people? Who are my collaborators? Who are my co-creators? That's not going to detract from your shine. It's actually just going to fuel it. Yes, I know. We have sparkle fingers, right? It's gonna enhance it and supercharge it and fuel it. And isn't that what we want for all of us?
It's like stars coming together to make this big, bright ass asteroid. I don't even know if that's scientifically right, but y'all know what I'm saying.
We know. Yeah. Not for nothing, very on brand, Moe, as the tagline for Luminous in Taos is summon your star power.
Okay, there we go.
All right, loves. So, if you're listening to this in August of 2022, then come and join us, Luminous in Taos 2023. We have a super generous payment plan, and we want you to say yes.
Say yes to you.
Yes.
New experiences.
Yes. A giant sky, a beautiful venue.
The sky. The food.
The food.
Y'all, I was in the kitchen every day. I nicknamed myself Don't Miss a Meal Mo. Every day. I was just waiting, rocking, seeing what was
with
her
headphones occasionally. I love it so much.
Join us.
So yes, join us. And if you're listening to this at some other time, just watch this space, because Mo and I are just getting started on our collaborations.
We really are. And you've again, you've helped me see some things. This woman right here, I've labeled her a secret weapon. She's the secret weapon. And I'll just say this, and there may be other people that are people that do retreats, people that host retreats, and then people that want to or have been thinking about it or have been told that they should, but don't necessarily feel right about being in that, showing up in that space that way. Something you said to me helped me a lot. I get to come on this and collaborate with you, but this is not something that I have to take on all on my own. And for me, that was just a relief. It was a relief. I can come and I can contribute to spaces like this and then move on to another space. I don't have to be in a space all by myself or create it that way. Yes. So that in itself, honey, you freed me in ways you don't even realize yet. Oh, you really did. You really did.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Yeah. Yes. And what a perfect message to end this podcast with, is just there are so many ways to do this, and you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. And maybe the world is telling you to be a shining star, you have to be all alone on the stage. But listen, no one is ever alone on a stage. There's the lighting technician. There's the sound technician.
Yes.
We're never doing this alone. We're always all in this together. And when we are in it together on purpose, it is fucking magic.
Magic, y'all. Magic.
I'm this mic is not droppable, but if it were. All right. King Moe.
Yes, yes.
A pleasure as always. I'm madly in love with you.
Same.
All our lovely, lovely listener. I love you too. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank y'all.
And bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Mind Witchery. To catch all the magic I'm offering, please subscribe to the show. Or if you want a little bit of weekly witchiness in your inbox, sign up for my Sunday letter at mindwitchery.com. If today's episode made you think of a friend or loved one, your sister, your neighbor, please tell them about it. We need more magic makers in this troubled world. Like all good things, this podcast is co-created by stellar people. Our music is by fabulous DJ, artist, and producer Shammy D. Our gorgeous art is by the sorcerers at New Moon Creative. Mind Witchery is produced in conjunction with Particulate Media, K.O. Myers, executive producer. And I am Natalie Miller. Till next time. Hello. As promised, here is a little bit of info about my new group coaching program called Crucible. You know what a crucible is. A crucible is a container in which transformation occurs. It's a strong container, basically like where you melt down metals so that you can make new things. You can make alloys. And my program is called Crucible because it is designed to give you a space where you can summon the courage, the inspiration, the momentum that you need to finally take action on, to finally manifest that thing that you have been wanting to do. And what is that thing? I don't know. That thing might be a new offer if you are an entrepreneur. That thing might be the idea for the book that's been swirling around in your head. It might be an outline for that book. It might be a whole short story. That thing might be a job description for the assistant that you've been wanting to hire. That thing might be your own podcast. Whatever that thing is that you keep thinking, oh, someday I'd really love to make this happen. Crucible says, let's do it now and let's do it together. So Crucible offers 7 weeks of group coaching. Crucible offers insight into how it is exactly that I take an idea and make it real. Right? Now, this is not about me kind of imposing my method onto you, but it is about sparking your own creativity and insisting on a self-honoring way of creating. Yeah? Crucible is about community with other people who are also making it happen. And I cannot even begin to put into words how valuable that is. How much of a difference it makes to be surrounded by other people who are expanding and growing into what's next. Crucible is in large measure about helping you to claim the time and energy that you need to create what's next. And so we'll use my anti-planner, Time Witchery, to do that. We will use co-working sessions that are hosted by Flow Club. I'm very excited about that part in particular. So Crucible is not assuming that you have the willpower and courage and time and energy to make this thing happen. In fact, Crucible says, oh yeah, let's give you a place to generate that, to generate all that you need in order to manifest what it is that you want next. So you are invited. You can go check out Crucible at timewitchery.com/crucible. We begin on April 10th. We go through April and most of May. And then we get to take off for the summer, having finally taken action on that thing that you've been toying with, flirting with, wondering about, dreaming about for so long. So again, more details at timewitchery.com/crucible. I super hope you will meet me inside.